The judge said I wasn't, or you weren't credible because you could do things around the house. Why would the judge say that? Okay. In our last video, we talked about sitting, standing, and walking. And this is where, and I kind of mentioned it a little bit when I was talking about when you're sitting at a hearing and you're sitting here saying that, oh, I can't sit for 10 to 15 minutes, but then you can walk around the grocery store. That's kind of what I was referring to, and this is more of an expansion of that discussion. For instance, typically during the hearing at some point, if you're saying that you have limitations that affect your ability to sit, stand, walk, crouch, kneel, crawl, and do things like that, lifting and so forth, the court can use a one-to-one correlation. So for instance, let me give a good example. Let's say that you say, I can't stand for more than 5 minutes at a time, but then I cook meals for my family of 5. Now I'm going to tell you, my lovely wife cooks for me, and I know she's in the kitchen just for the two of us for more than 5 minutes. So then you have to ask yourself, you're standing in your kitchen cooking for a family of 5. You're not going to convince me that you're not going to be able to stand longer than 5 minutes. But you have to be prepared to explain those things. This is why I tell people, be detailed. Don't gloss over what you do. So when you're like, can you cook? Yeah, I can cook a little something. But you got to specify. If you know, well, I cook. Like I had one client, when she was like, oh, I cook for my family all the time. I said, I thought you could only stand 5 minutes or so. Oh, well, yeah, but I cook them all the time. And I said, be specific. And so she broke it down. She has a couple teenage daughters. They go and get the things out for her. She sits at the table and basically instructs them on how to do it. And every few minutes she stands up just to check to see if anything's burning, if it's too hot, or if it needs to be rotated, things like that. But for the most part, she does all the cooking from a seated position, but in grander scheme of things, she's not cooking. Her kids are. Or her husband will go and get things that are heavy out of the refrigerator, and her husband sets the table and moves and puts everything in place. So technically, she's not cooking. She's directing people how to cook. And there are days when she can't, where she literally has to stay on the couch and tell them what to do from a distance. So in essence, she wasn't cooking for them. But the way she made it sound was, oh, I cook for them all the time. If you just left it there like that, then you're leaving it up to the decision maker to figure out on his or her own your limitations. Same thing. Oh, I can't crouch, I can't crawl, I can't kneel or stoop. Do you clean your bathroom? Yeah. Well, guess what? Typically cleaning your bathroom means getting on your knees and washing and scrubbing your tubs, cleaning your toilets, mopping underneath the sinks. Those are all bending, kneeling, crouching activities. Be specific and be prepared to explain how, well, let me back up a little bit, because I don't clean the bathtub, my husband does. I don't clean behind the toilets, my son does. In terms of washing the toilets and everything like that in the sink, that's what my daughter does. Pretty much the only thing I do is I do a little light sweeping, and I might mop, and if I have any problems mopping, my daughter takes care of it. Well, that is a much different detail than saying I can't kneel or crouch, but then I can clean up the bathrooms. You gotta be specific. You got to, because what ends up happening is, let's take it even a greater flip side. Let's say, oh, I can only walk for 5 or 10 minutes, but then I'm on my back. I can't rest. I can't move anywhere. Who goes to grocery shop? Oh, my husband. I don't let him go by himself. I go get the groceries when necessary. They just unload them when I get home. So you got 5 people in the house, and you go grocery shopping by yourself. Do you need the cart, the motorized cart? No. I just push the cart up and down the aisles. I'll lean on it, but I can go up and down the aisles. Now, mind you, you just sat there and testified that you can only walk for 5 minutes before you have to lay down because you're in so much pain. But then you're walking up and down the aisles. You figure you got a factor. Let's kind of be real here. You don't need a motorized cart. You got to get out your car. You've got to walk from your car to the grocery store. You got to get your cart. You've got to walk up and down the aisles to get the items that you need. You need to bring them there. You have to check them out. You have to walk back out to the car, put them in the car, and roll off. That's going to take longer than 5 minutes. So guess what ends up happening? You say you can walk 5 minutes, but you just told the court, based on how much detail you do in your going grocery shopping, then it's probably reasonable that you can walk a lot longer than that. So now that whole I can only walk 5 minutes thing doesn't have as much weight to it, considering what your activities are. Just think. A lot of times people don't think. Just think about what you do. I know it's not easy, and I don't want to insult anybody's intelligence when I make the statement. Think about what you do in the context of how you do it so you can explain it in relations to what you do.